Critic Games, podcast where we bring you the latest in gaming news, indie reviews, and everything else under the sun. My name is Kendall, and I'm here with my co-host, Carl. What's happening, brother?
What's good? What's good?
And my man, James, what's good, bro?
Keeping it alive.
You know, the only thing we can all do is just keep it alive and root for those Eagles in the playoffs. You know, that's what we all should be doing right now. But
I don't know about that one.
I was gonna say I was gonna be shocked if y'all let me get that off.
They're good, but I know I'm secretly pulling for the Lions.
See, this is why I need my man Tony back here. This is a problem. we Eagles fan dearth in this Eclipse podcast, but we are not here to talk about the Eagles, unfortunately. Let us know in the comments if you want us to be, because we'll switch this podcast up. But we are actually back to finally do our Game of the Year 2024 episode. If you guys have been following Eclipse for a little while, some of you might have been hip when we had our website. We do our Game of the Years, you know, at the beginning of the next year, give everything a chance to kind of fade through, you know. But we're just kind of going to do it a little differently this year. We're each individually going to make a list of 3 because I know everybody hasn't played everything. And, you know, there's a lot of games that came out in 2024. They all kind of need their shine. So we're going to go through and do our list and kind of give our personal top 3 of 2024. I didn't mention this to you guys, but 2 of my games is on y'all list. So I'm not going to start. So you know, I'll just kind of let y'all go through and get your thoughts, and then I'll kind of like agree and give my little last minute thoughts. But I don't know who wants to start, man. We're gonna do this kind of fast and loose. So who feels more passionate about their games?
Call me over.
All right, I was nominated to go first, so let's do it. So the first game on my list. Many of you who've seen this podcast probably know I'm a huge RPG and I'm a huge fan of Atlas as well. So not surprisingly, Persona 3 Reloaded is on my list. It is an amazing game. I did not want to like it because this game has been remade so many times. And I told myself I'll only play it if I didn't have to pay for it. Luckily, it was on Game Pass, so nice. I got a free pass.
That's hilarious.
Not only was the game on Game Pass, the DLC was also on Game Pass. Yep. So it was a double win. So I got to experience the game, and it is a fantastic game. There was a lot of quality of life changes they made. A lot of them. They made using the combination moves way easier in this game. And the old one was a lot harder in the original. The original Persona 3 is just harder in general. You couldn't even control your damn character. Yep. So a lot of minor quality of life, major quality of life changes. And the DLC was actually better as well. I do have my slight problems with DLC still. I feel like they could have gave, I don't want to spoil anything, but social links are not in the DLC. I'm just going to throw it out. That's not spoiling too much. It's a straight up traditional dungeon crawler. And I feel like in the DLC, they could have fixed that from the original because it's a brand new game, basically. Why not? Right. You can do anything you want with it. Why do that? But Persona 3 Reloaded is fantastic in almost every way. It's a solid game. My next, what's up?
I was just agreeing. Good choice.
My next game on the list is actually it was a toss up between Street Fighter 6 and Tekken 8. I love both games. I'm a huge fighting game fan and a huge fighting game watcher. I love watching the tournaments. Tekken 8 slightly edged out Street Fighter 6, just barely. I don't know why, but I feel like I slightly enjoy Tekken 8 more. I'm not sure. Maybe because King has an RKO and a pedigree. I don't know. I think those two just move, and he has the angle slam. I think King's moveset sold me on Tekken 8 more than Tekken 6. Tekken 6 is very fun.
I mean, hey, King put the game on his back, bro.
He did. Just pointing at somebody and rushing, hitting them ass with an RKO is fantastic. I know a lot of people don't like the changes they made in Tekken 8 with the heat rush. I think the heat rush is a great change, and I find it weird when people get upset when the next game is different. That's the whole purpose of the next game coming out. You don't want it to be the same as Tekken 7 because then why make Tekken 8? They need to do something to spice it up. So I actually like all the changes they did to it. And yeah, so I'm a fan of Tekken 8. I know that's probably not the most popular opinion. A lot of people seem to be going towards Tekken 7 nowadays still, but I like Tekken 8. Tekken 8 is great.
I respect that logic for sure.
Yeah, like you want to play same things happen with Street Fighter 6. They're going like Street Fighter. A lot of people going back to Street Fighter 5 saying Street Fighter 6 is trash because this is that and third. I'm like, yo, it's supposed to be different though. Like, what are you talking about?
after the reception Street Fighter V got initially, that's hilarious. But yeah,
Exactly. That could be a whole podcast episode on its own.
yes,
Seriously.
yes.
And
Okay.
my last game is Elden Ring because they released a DLC, and apparently since DLCs can get nominated for Game of the Year, they they can get added on this list as the best game of 2024. Um, I love Elden Ring. Elden Ring is fantastic. I'm not gonna spend too much time on it. I'm still working my way to the DLC, but having not played Elden Ring in so long and jumped back in with the DLC, it just reopened my eyes to how awesome the game is. Like I started playing Tears of the Kingdom recently, and then I just stopped playing that, and I started playing Elden Ring again. I'm like, Elden Ring is like kind of like, do I like this better than Tears of the Kingdom? I think I might. I don't know. I'm still debating on that one out still, but that's my top three.
Interesting. I want to not have that debate right now because we'll be here all day. I got like everything inside me is on fire to say stuff, but I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pass it to you, James, because I'm actually gonna rework my list so that I don't have the same stuff y'all do. So, James, you want to go next?
So I'm gonna go definitely Wukong. I love that game. I've been waiting on that game since it first got announced. Um, and y'all know me, I don't like Souls games or anything of that nature. I fucking hate those games. But Wukong gave me that feel like that I like from Bloodborne. Like it's the same, it's similar combat, but it's faster. In a way. So I enjoyed that more. And then Wukong also gave me like the most disrespectful boss I've ever fought in my life, to where he beats your ass and then takes your healing potion and then heals himself with it. And I felt like that was the most like disrespectful shit I've ever had in my life. Uh,
Yeah, it's up there.
and like I said, the bosses are actually like really like difficult, actually. So it does give me that challenge that I've been looking for in gaming in general. And I just overall enjoyed the game. Um, I have to go with Final Fantasy Rebirth. I mean I don't even have enough words to describe that game. The shit is just amazing. If it's not in your top three, something's wrong with you. That's all I'm saying.
Yep.
Something's wrong. And the last one is Metaphor. Just like we were kind of talking about earlier, like, I think we all here love Persona games. To me, like this game that Atlas put out is like a rival Persona, even though it's their stuff too.
Yeah.
But if it was from a different company, I'd say like, okay, like they're trying to rival like Persona. But since it's their stuff, it's similar, but it's different in a different way. Like you really get attached to the characters. It has a lot of like twists. I've not finished the game yet, so I don't know like everything about it. But like what I've been playing so far is like it's amazing. And then it goes back to turn-based like RPGs where I think like took away a lot of RPGs now like JRPGs where they're just action RPGs. Even like like the new Final Fantasy. What Final Fantasy was that? 13,
16.
Yeah, that one. It's it's an action RPG game. It's not an actual like turn-based, and I think turn-based doesn't get enough respect anymore, like it used to back in the day. So going back to like turn-based combat and things like that, like, is amazing.
Definitely feel that. Okay. So I agree with I didn't want to jump in and interrupt nobody's list, you know what I mean? But I agree very much. The two that I had on my list were Final Fantasy and Persona 3. So I definitely feel y'all and like the what really seems like the ones that y'all really like had the most to say about. Persona 3 is just an incredible remake. Like even if you played the original, if you haven't played the original, it really is like it shows you how good the game was because it's the same game, but it's like a reinvented game, just everything just feels so much better. The quality of life stuff is amazing. And it's interesting to hear you say that about the DLC because I didn't finish the DLC probably for that reason. Like it just didn't latch me like the OG game. But as far as the base game, incredible experience. And the reason that I haven't played Metaphor, which just looks incredible. I can't wait to jump into that. And I'm glad to see some turn-based games coming back around. So good list. And yeah, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, bro. I'm taking it off my list so I can give my list some variety, but it's my number one. That's my game of the year because here's the thing about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. My cousin watched me play that game, And he was like, "Oh, this doesn't look good at all." And I'm like, "Why you say that?" And he was like, "You've been playing this mini game for like 20 hours." And like it doesn't, you're not even having fun anymore. You're just trying to beat the mini game. And I'm like, you're absolutely right. I haven't had fun in days playing this game. But that's not what the game is. A lot of this, I feel like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth gets a lot of flack and like the conversation shifted because there's so much shit to do and like it can become daunting and like a lot of people burn themselves out or dive into one of the mini games and like some of them get really hard. Everybody quits on the Chocobo joint, like the one that you
Uh,
find over the desert. I had a lot of fun with it, but it's all optional, and what they put in there is actually incredible. This is what my 12-year-old self wanted this game to be 100%, because the original had hella many games. It's how this game was supposed to be. This is the meat and potatoes part of the story. So I just wanted to get on my soapbox for that game real quick. I think it's still my game of the year for it. But to give my actual list that I just hastily reworked out of nowhere, I'm gonna start with Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. I don't know if y'all have tried that yet.
I haven't had a good rap for Prince of Persia in a while.
Oh man, this one, honestly, I haven't played Prince of Persia in the longest time, and the last one it was like too easy for me. The PS3 one that was like all colorful. Um, but this game is incredible. It's a Metroidvania, so like side scrolling. You know what I mean? You're getting all these amazing abilities. Here's the kicker about this game, and it's hard to explain without playing it, but it kind of plays like Smash in a way. Like the way you have options for like moving, I mean, for like controlling your attacks, like directing them. You can do like forward A's and up A's and specials that, directional. And it's got like so much more than you would think as far as like the combat controls. If you go into it kind of thinking Smash a little bit, you'll be surprised how much fun that combat is. The map is amazing. I haven't finished that either. We got a lot of games we haven't finished on our list, but it's a pretty incredible game. My next on my list, I want to shout out Animal Well. It's another game I know y'all probably haven't tried. This is probably my true number two. Like, if I'm being real, that this or Balatro, which also didn't make my list. I know I'm missing a lot of games. My list is like 6 games long, but Animal Well is really incredible in a lot of ways that really need to be experienced. It's one of those games that's so simple. Like you kind of don't have a way to fight back your little blob, but you get these simple items and the amount of secrets and like puzzles that are just hidden all throughout the game. It's special. It's one of those like one person had a vision type of games, and it's really, really lives up to that pedigree. I think it's all timer personally. So that's my number two. And then my number three is one that I wanted to put on there so we can all discuss. I had a lot of debate about what I wanted to put here, like Balatro and stuff. But I'm gonna put Marvel Rivals as my third game on my game of the year list because man, this game got me back into the hero shooters. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I kind of fallen off of Overwatch for like various reasons, not like entirely, there's a lot of reasons, but Marvel Rivals just kind of came out and was everything that I hoped it would be when we were like, man, it would be dope if we had this, but with characters we know. Um, and it also gets a lot of flack as an Overwatch clone, but when you're making a shooter, changing small elements like having a bunch of multi or melee focused characters or having destructible environments that you can take down the ledge someone's standing on and stuff like that. It really changes the game in fundamental ways. Team up attacks, that's huge. Like Overwatch doesn't have that. So it is a unique game that brings a lot to the table. And I think it's pretty special for I don't think we are gonna talk about it because it's like a free to play multiplayer game, but it's a pretty special experience to me.
I mean, I wouldn't put it in mine because that's the only game I've been playing. So I can't even lie to you.
I feel that. I feel
I made it to platinum and competitive, and then they reset the season, so now I'm in fucking silver. But
yeah.
it is what it is.
Yep. Have you tried the new characters like Sue Storm?
So I did. Sue is actually good. So I thought Mr. Fantastic was ass cheap, but then I learned how to use him, and he's basically a hybrid tank, basically.
Yep.
He's basically a DPS tank.
He can boost himself up like that.
Yeah. He's actually pretty good. I think I was playing with him recently, and I won like 26 and like 5, and I was like, oh, he's actually pretty good.
100%.
Yeah. I love it. So I mean, only reason why I didn't put it on there is because it came out like later on in the year is the only reason why they put it on there.
But see, that's why we do it in January. We get everything. You can come out December 29th. It's fine.
Right.
This is perfect. But I'm not mad at us. I think all three of our lists have like three legitimate candidates, and Carl has Elden Ring because he cheated. But for the most part,
I did not cheat. It was nominated for Game of the Year 2024.
if we go if
I
we're going
mean,
Shadow of the Earth Tree, I'm here for it because I think that game is big enough. That like expansion is big enough to get nominated. But yeah, okay, I'll give it to you. But so if you guys had to choose just before we wrap things up, is which one would be the one from your list? Like what would be your game of the year?
ooh. If I'm going strictly on how much fun I had playing a game, I would have to pick Persona 3 off my list. I think I had the most fun because I'm still currently playing Elden Ring and I've beaten Persona 3 Reloaded, and Tekken 8 you can't beat. You just continue playing it. And so that's not really a fair comparison.
But if you were having more fun with it, you'd still be having more fun. So it was still, but
I guess, but like Persona 3 still. I had the most fun playing Persona. It's nothing like just sitting down, listen to a compelling story, and just like, and then like kind of turn your brain off to do different combos when you're fighting like crazy ass boss fights and whatnot. So Persona 3 for me.
Respect it. What about you, James?
Final Fantasy Rebirth would definitely probably have.
Okay.
I think we all dreamt as a kid. We first played Final Fantasy 7, and we got older. It was like, man, what if they remade Final Fantasy 7 and it didn't look like pixels running around, and it actually had some and I think we got that, and I think we understand how much. Now the only, like I said, my only gripe about that game is that Vincent is an unplayable character. I'm not gonna get too much into that, but that's the only thing I don't like about the game.
I like
change.
Well, I thought that they were going to do what they did with Yuffie, because you know how in the OG, so these are vague, not really spoilers, but just like the fact that Vincent and Yuffie are playable when they are. In the first game, Yuffie wasn't playable in your party. I think she popped up every now and then in the story, maybe. But she got DLC and was like totally separate, which made sense because you weren't with her at this point in the party. In this game, if you'll accept mild spoilers, because it's like I'm telling you Final Fantasy VII stuff, the Final Fantasy VII stuff. But, so you get through the part where you meet him in the basement of the Mount Nibelheim or whatever, Mount Nibel. But he doesn't join your party yet. He just comes with you. So the next game basically you're setting it up so he'll join your party.
Well, I will say this about not having Vincent as playable. He was technically never playable in the original because that motherfucker did his own goddamn thing when you're fucking active in his ult and you couldn't control. That's why he never was on my party to begin with. He's always on the bench for me.
He ruined my Hojo boss fight so bad. He couldn't hurt him, and he just wouldn't stop attacking him. It was crazy.
Also, I also like this game because they made Barrett really useful in this game. Not saying he wasn't in the original, but like you said, he wasn't on my team. I honestly subbed him out for Yuffie, so he wasn't really on my squad or Vincent. But in this game, he's actually really useful.
Kendall knows how I feel about Barrett and why he was never on my team.
You know what's so funny? I just saw someone make that same argument on a podcast I listened to, and I'm like, man, even the remake can't get him away from it. He's not even. I don't want to spoil the game, but okay, all right, it's fine. It's fine.
Hey, he's never on my team. He was actually subbed out for Yuffie in the original for me.
Listen, if your argument that Barrett is a bad father, I will argue that he wasn't even the kid's father. He just the dad just stepped up. All right.
Really a step down if you ask me, but go on.
He might have stepped out after he stepped up for a little while, But it's fine. No, it's fine. But no, I feel that choice. It was probably my choice, like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. That's probably my game of the year, if I'm being real. My second choice would probably be Animal Well. It's just unique in its experience, like what it is, It's hard to explain if you don't play it, and it's hard to make people play it if it's not your style of game. If you see a trailer for it and you're like, that looks interesting, you should play it because you're gonna love it and you're gonna dive so deep in the well. I beat that game and I'm probably not halfway through the game. if that makes sense. Like there's so much stuff to find in this little map. So yeah, fire games. Okay. So I might have to come up with some way for us to determine Eclipse Day's official like game of the year. I did not come up with a method. We got too much going on and too many games people didn't play. Um, like we'll mess around and take 2025 to play all the 2024 games and then come back at the end of the year and crown our game of the year from last year.
That's why I did 2024. I played all 2023 games.
It makes sense. Honestly, I'm about to buy Resident Evil right now because it's $20. Why not? They're all on sale, but I definitely want to hear from you guys in the comments, man. Let us know what you guys' game of the year is. Let us know how you feel about our picks. Who's an idiot here? Because I want to know who has the worst taste. That's what I would like to hear from the comment section. But I guess we'll go ahead and bring this one to a close. I'm looking forward to actually doing our draft soon because I want to get back to the fantasy draft. We gotta run through our results as well. Even though we kind of know who won that, we ain't gotta push that off too far, but. We have a lot of good content coming for you guys in 2025, so definitely make sure you guys keep it locked. But until next time, I am Kendall. This has been James and Carl, and make sure you guys keep gaming.